welcome. My name is Richard Hughes, and I'm pleased to be your host today for Around Town, your community program. We're here in the Miramar branch of the City County Credit Union with Sandra Spence, Vice President of Advertising and Public Relations. Sandra's going to talk to us today about money, specifically teaching kids the value of money. So thanks for joining us. Thank you for being here, Sandra.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you.
Nice to have you. So tell us about why it's important that kids learn about money.
Well, I think it's very important for kids to learn about money because money, we're all consumers, and the management of money is a skill that everyone should know about. And I think it should be as natural as teaching the kids to feed themselves, to tie their shoelaces, and the education about money should be age appropriate. So depending on the age of the child, the parents should gear their lessons towards that age and to make it as natural as possible.
So how young of an age are we talking about to start teaching kids about money?
I think we can start as soon as a child is able to understand. Even before 1 year old, when you read to them, parents can read to their kids about give them books about money, stories about money. They can use lessons, life lessons to teach them about money. If they go out to the park and there's a fountain, there are often coins in the fountain. They can talk to them about the value of the coin. They can start by giving them a piggy bank and showing them how to save. Giving them their coins when they come home so the children can save them in the piggy bank, and so on and so forth. And it goes all the way up to high school.
Oh, I see. That's very interesting.
I need to learn how to budget more and how to use what I am earning and what I do have and not as much as what I don't have. And I learned that, I'm only allowed to go over a certain amount so I don't put myself in jeopardy or financial troubles.
Sandra, I saw something in your program materials about teachable moments. Could you give us an example or a few examples of what teachable moments would be?
Sure. As parents, we all go shopping. And a teachable moment is when you use that debit or credit card at the cash register. You could use that opportunity to teach your children that this is a credit card and this is how I'm paying for the groceries. However, I will have to pay that back later. It's a loan. Or if you take the child to the ATM, you can use that as a teachable moment to tell them that I am retrieving money that I put in my financial institution earlier on. The money is not coming from the machine. It is mom and dad's money that we are just taking back from the machine. So that is very, very important that the kids know the source of the money. And that is a tool that you will start with to teach them about money management and how to budget.
With me today, I have my son, Jeffrey Rodriguez. He's gotten a lot of information from how to handle a savings account to balancing a checking account and the importance of having not only a savings but a retirement plan. It is important that Jeffrey learns the value of a dollar, how to structure his money, and how to spend it wisely.
Sandra, tell us a little bit about teachable or teaching tools, I should say. For example, savings.
Well, all kids will get some kind of birthday presents from grandparents, aunts, and uncles. And we know that kids know about money. They might not know all the fundamentals of money, but they know what money is. So it is really appropriate. We should teach them age-appropriate things. For instance, before kids go into school, we can buy them a piggy bank, teach them how to save. There are some really cute piggy banks out there that are sectioned off, and they have a section in the piggy bank for savings, a section for spending, a section for giving away to charity. And so if you get one of those piggy banks, for instance, you could have the child split the monies that he gets and put it into each appropriate section, and so use it to spend, use some of it to save, and use some of it for charity. And they said charity begins at home is a good time to start teaching them about giving back to others. when kids are older. For instance, when they go to middle school and they have a little job, maybe a babysitting job or a pet sitting job, it's another chance to teach them how to save and how to budget. And of course, when they go on to high school, it's a good time to teach them how to get a credit card. For instance, there are some very progressive financial institutions that give credit cards to kids younger than 17. And the kids can use the credit cards before they go off to college. And so the parent is always there to teach them, okay, here is what you charge on the card and here's where you pay it back in full every month. So when they go off to college, they will not have that whole allure of people bringing them in to get credit cards for a pizza or for a beach ball or a beach towel. They will know the value of the card and they will know how to handle their finances.
Let's talk a little bit about allowances. I know that it's a tricky area for parents. I understand an allowance could be something that's just given to the child, or the allowance could be something earned for a chore done around the house. Are there any expert opinions on one's better than the other, or is it just really dependent on how you want to teach your particular child the value of money?
That's a very tricky question, and it's really up to the individual family. But by and large, family financial counselors tell us that the kids should be given an allowance. They suggest that, again, it should be age appropriate, and they suggest a guideline of $1 a week for each year of life. So for instance, if a child is 6 years old, you could consider giving them $6 a week. If the child is 10 years old, $10, and so on and so forth. An allowance is really a management tool, a money management tool. If the kids know it's coming in, they will know how to save and they will know how to budget for it. If they want to earn extra, there are always extra things to do, extra chores. And there are always entrepreneurial things the kids can do. I read a story once of a 9-year-old boy who started a pet sitting business. And he would take in hamsters when people were on vacation. They would bring the hamsters to him in the cage with food and water, and he would hamster sit, and he made quite a bit of money from that. So that's a good example of entrepreneurship and earning extra to supplement that allowance.
Let's switch now to the topic of consequences. As we probably both would agree that growing up, when you learn about money and start using your own money, you may make a mistake. What do the experts say about consequences for kids with parents? Should they use it as an opportunity for teaching them a lesson about the money, or should they bail them out, or should they do a combination of things?
Well, the experts really think that kids should not be bailed out. If it's a small thing, for instance, if you have warned them not to buy a toy, but they insist on buying a cheap toy and it gets broken, it's a good teaching opportunity to say, well, you shouldn't have bought it, you should have thought more about it. However, if it's something more serious, for an older child, for instance, and it's a mistake that's going to ruin their credit, then the parents should step in. But again, use this as a teaching opportunity to say, okay, I'm bailing you out now, but when you get older and in the real world, there'll be nobody to bail you out. So it always depends on what it is, and to make it age appropriate. We really value our youth, and we have special areas in all our branches where they can feel at home and they can sit and relax while their parents do their financial transactions. So that's really important to us, and we have gone the extra mile to set up specially designated areas for our young people.
Oh, it's a money game.
Awesome. I'm gonna do the maze.
In today's economy, should parents be talking to their kids about the bad economy and bad family financials?
Yes, definitely. The experts tell us that we should not hide problems from our children, especially financial problems. Kids are smarter than we think they are, and they hear things. They might hear whispers, they might hear conversations, they might hear something on the news, and they might think it's their fault. I think it's a good opportunity to bring the family together in a family conference, assure them that everything will be fine as long as we stay together and pull together, Involve them, ask them for advice. What can they do? Have them participate. The younger kids could, for example, volunteer to turn off all the lights and conserve on energy. The older kids might volunteer to give up a cell phone or to cut out some of their expenses, to forego going to the movies so often, cut coupons when you go shopping. There are lots of things that kids could do, and it would be a good learning opportunity and a good chance for the entire family to pull together and to budget their way out of a bad situation. Again, it's a great teaching tool for the kids, so we should not hide financial troubles from our family, especially the children.
This has been very good information. Could you tell the audience about the outreach that takes place to get this information to the people who need it?
Yes, many banks and credit unions now have special programs to teach children, so parents don't have to feel alone. There are many resources out there. At this credit union, for instance, we have programs for children who are under 17, and we have checking accounts, we have credit cards for young kids so that they can learn, they can use these as tools.
Okay, since this is your son's first checking account, I just want to show him how to fill out this account. So you're going to put in the date here, put in new numbers here, how much the dollar amount is, and then down here you're going to write out in words how much the dollar is.
We also have community outreach programs where we go out to companies to teach parents how to teach their children. And along with the City of Miramar, we are doing a very special program, a very special Dream Team program, where we're going to teach and counsel children, kids who will be tomorrow's future. So we're really proud of that. I'd like to give a message to all the mothers. As a mother of 2 children, I have been through it all, and I think that we should be teaching our kids about money perhaps from the day of birth. I used to read to my kids before they were born, and as silly as that may sound, the process continued. When they were older, we would choose books about money, and I would try to use the stories that I read to them as a teaching tool. When they were a little bit older, I would take them to the supermarket with me and help me to select items. When they could read, I had them cut coupons, and we'd bring the coupons to the supermarket with me. Every time they got money for their birthdays, we would purchase a stock with it, or we would put it in the piggy bank or take it to the credit union to add to their account. And I tried to teach them about making money and compounding. When they were older, as soon as they were 13, again, I went to the credit union. I got them a credit card with a $100 limit. And that might not sound like much, but it was just the right amount that they could learn how to manage a card, but they wouldn't get into a whole lot of trouble. Same with the checking account. The checking account that they got at 13 helped them how to write checks. It taught them how to write checks, how to balance their checking account. And now that they're in college, I think they're pretty much self-sufficient. And they have learned to bypass all those folks who are soliciting them for credit cards on campus, and that gives them a pen or a coffee mug for signing up. They know to bypass all those traps. So hopefully, I have planted a good seed, and hopefully they'll grow up to be responsible and self-sufficient adults.
Thank you again, Sandra, for joining us on this program. And join us again for a future segment of Around Town. I'm Richard Hughes. Goodbye.